Dickory, look at my whole up. Jesus Christ. This is my favourite part of the week. Coming into the green screen room and presenting conspiracies. Famous mugshot. Peasant. Now, this is definitely the longest conspiracy that I have written up. It's fucking huge. Like my dick. I'm so sorry. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Floyd Lyricc and welcome back to Floyd Lyricc TV. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the channel of the We're pretty woke here. Now guys, in my last conspiracy, I did cover the conspiracy surrounding Bon Appetit, the music video performed by singer-songwriter Katy Perry. Now that video had a lot of references to what we could call spirit cooking and cannibalism. And like always guys, you can go and watch that video right here on my channel. Sounded like some fucking Keemstar type shit. Now guys, I'm sure that you guys are very familiar with the new movie that came out recently that is titled Get Out. So this movie is based on a man named Chris and his girlfriend Rose. Now they are at a point in their relationship where it is the milestone meet the parents time. So Rose decides to invite Chris for a getaway upstate to meet her parents. Now at first, Chris is very aware that her family is showing odd behaviors towards her newfound interracial relationship. But guys, as this weekend progresses, a series of sinister discoveries had led Chris to a truth that he could never imagine even in his wildest dreams. Wildest dreams, oh, oh, oh. I'm so sorry. Now guys, before I get into and break down the symbolism and the conspiracies surrounding the movie Get Out, I'm going to add that there are many spoilers, so don't say I did not warn you. And if you really don't want to spoil it for yourself, I suggest going to watch the film before proceeding with this video. Then definitely come back because this video is top content. Now the film Get Out holds a lot of relation to what we would call Helter Skelter. And if you're familiar with Helter Skelter, then I'm sure you're very aware of Charles Manson. Charles Manson often talked to his family members about the movie Helter Skelter, an apocalyptic war arising from racial tensions from black and whites. Now, the movie Get Out is basically rich white men, or the Illuminati or global elite type of people, auctioning off young people of color. And they do this to gain some sort of control and to transfer into the body of someone who is much, much younger. Yeah. The white elitists in this film do this because they have a belief that people of color hold superior genetics. So they will go out and kidnap these people of color completely against their will. And it is really, really fucked up. And then once they have kidnapped their victim, they will put them under mind control hypnosis. Or what we could even reference to the MK Ultra mind control program. If you've watched a few of my previous videos, you would see the relation in the hypnosis mind control in which is used in that movie and the similarities that are used by the mind control program that was founded by Nazi scientists and later used in America by the CIA. So after the hypnosis, they put them in a place which is called the sunken place. The sunken place has a very interesting meaning behind it. Director of the film, Jordan Peele, said that it means we're marginalized. No matter how hard we scream, the system silences us. And that is very, very sad. Okay guys, so the first abduction of the movie starts with the character Andre, who then turns out to be Logan later on in that film. The abductor of Logan was Jeremy, a jiu-jitsu brother, and we all know this because he drives the exact same car which you later see him drive in the movie. And he also uses what we know as a grappling takedown for the purposes of detaining Andre. And also for the fact he wears that helmet in the passenger side of the car. And you will also notice the same music playing from that car later on in the film. Now, Jeremy is a perfect representation of what we would call a white elitist racist. He goes around using his spare time attacking people of color. He also wears a knight helmet that has relations to the white knights of the KKK. What the fuck? He also drives a white car, and that mirrors the white cars in which were used by the KKK also. He chose to only ride white horses. Thought bestiality was illegal in America. I'm triggered. And he also doesn't hold back when speaking of Chris's genetic makeup and physical frame. And he also claims that he could be a beast. Bruce. Now, when Rose first appears in that film, we see her picking from assorted colored donuts. And this symbolizes her relationship with Chris, making sure that he is the right colored and perfect fitted candidate to bring home to her family so he can be auctioned off to the highest bidder. Now, you will notice a scene where Rose prevents Chris from giving his ID to a police officer. Now, you would think that she is doing this for reasons of protecting him with no ill intent or sinister agenda behind it. It was recently discovered that she did this so that there was no paper trail left of Chris once she had allowed her parents to sell him. So when Chris and Rose finally arrive at Rose's parents' home, you will notice two Omega symbols in front of the house. And Omega is known as the last letter in the Greek alphabet, which led people to believe that this would be Chris's demise as he arrived. You'll notice when Chris and Rose first speak with Rose's parents that her dad is preaching on how much he hates deers and bucks. And guys, the term black buck was used as a racial slur in post-Reconstruction America and has referrals to people of color not bowing down to white authority. Now, when Chris and Rose's father walk into the kitchen, you will hear her father say that he would, quote, wanted to keep a piece of grandma so that they can always remember her. And in that same scene, that is when Georgina is introduced into the film. Later on in that film, you will see Dean, who is Rose's father, tell Chris that he could not bear to let them go after his parents had died. Guys, let's get this straight. When he says, let them go, he isn't speaking about Georgina and Walter. He is speaking about Grandma and Grandpa. What the fuck? Now, later on in that film, you will see Jeremy, who is the jiu-jitsu brother, attempt to attack Chris, but Rose's mother intervenes and stops him. But then later, Jeremy states that he wasn't planning on hurting Chris. And by saying that, he is saying that he wasn't going to damage their new profound body and victim. You will then see Chris exit the house and go at the front of the property to see Georgina in the window admiring herself in the mirror. But guys, that isn't Georgina. That is Rose's grandmother admiring her new youthful body and face. This whole movie is completely just fucked up. Now, when you see Walter start charging at Chris aggressively, now state is definitely not Walter, but Rose's grandpa, taking advantage of his new profound youthfulness and sprinting like he did as a young adult. Now, you will see Chris being hypnotized and being sent to the sunken space, in which we spoke about earlier. Now, when Chris speaks to the groundskeeper Walter, who we know isn't Walter and is actually Rose's granddad, he speaks of Rose in an old-fashioned manner. And that's because that's the language that Grandpa would have used back in his days. Now, when the rest of the family and guests start arriving to the house for a party, you will notice Walter greeting majority of the guests. with affection and excitement? Well, the answer for that is very simple. It's because they know that that is not Walter, and in fact, that is Rose's grandpa, and that they are all ecstatic to see him. He isn't the groundskeeper for the family, he is the backbone holding them together. You will notice at the party that guests are making racial remarks towards Chris, but what they're doing is sizing him up, looking into his transferable skill sets, in which may be very important to the buyer of Chris's body. Now, when you see Andre or Logan gauging and showing off and spinning around, it's because he is showing off his new body to everybody at that party, and that he is very, very happy with it. It's just super creepy. Now, when you see Georgina back up in her room, looking at that same mirror, adjusting her busts, it is believed she had done that so she could hide the scars of her operation. And you will start to see similar patterns with Logan because he is always wearing a hat. And the groundskeeper, Walter, also wears a hat to disguise the scarring. An interesting thing is that the people who have attended this party, every single one of them are wearing a colored item of red. And Chris is distinctly wearing the color blue. And that mirrors and has relations to the left-right system or the us versus them type of thing. Now, when Chris finally goes upstairs and meets with Georgina, Georgina clearly states to Chris that he doesn't need to worry, because she, quote, doesn't answer to anybody. And by saying that, she means that she is not the maid and that she is grandma and doesn't have to wait on anybody. This movie's actually really creepy. Ugh. And that she is a superior within sinister line of their family tree. Now, Chris continues with this conversation and goes on to say that he gets quite nervous when there are a lot of white people around. Georgina's response was nothing short of sinister. Georgina starts to cry and starts repeating the words, "No, no, no, no," very calmly to Chris. So the mind of Georgina is responding to the comments of Chris as she can relate to him. But when she starts saying no, 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 Rose's grandma is trying to gain control of the body again. Now, when Chris goes downstairs to the party, he gets approached by an Asian man. This Asian man goes on to ask Chris if it is an advantage or disadvantage to be black in the United States of America. And he's asking those questions to Chris so that he can get an insight to the good and bad, transferring his mind into Chris's body. Now, it's when Chris pulls out his phone that we get the first glimpse of what's going on with Logan. And it's fucking creepy. And that mirrors that and has relations to the overwhelming footage we see from people's cell phones surrounding police brutality and a lot of other things. So Rose goes on and asks Chris if he would like to go for a walk. Now, it would appear that that would be beneficial to Chris's well-being, but it is not. Nor was it something that she hadn't already planned. That's when her family would hold the silent auction for Chris's body. You'll notice Rose's father states, quote, "Who is ready for sparklers and bingo?" I am. And that was Rose's trigger words to get Chris out of the house so the auction could begin. Now, when you see Chris strapped to the chair, it really does mirror that of slavery auctions that did take place back when this sort of thing was still going on back in America. When you see Chris trying to haggle those straps off, oh my god, that just looked like So when you see Chris trying to haggle those straps off, you'll notice that that's how he puts cotton in his ears at the end of the film. And a really fucked up and interesting is that when Chris is picking at that cotton to save his life, it mirrors that of the slavery forced upon its victim. So now we come to a scene where Rod is watching TV with Sid. In a commercial, you will hear an advert state, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." It's very similar to what Chris and other victims of that family are facing. And it was also a slogan known for the United Nations Negro College Fund. Now, Rod goes to the police to seek help, but they think that his story is completely fabricated and that his behavior is showing signs that it's dissociated from reality. Basically claiming that he is making this whole thing up and that he is crazy. Now that has a lot of referrals to what people of color go through when making claims of racial hate against them, which is very, very sad. Now you will notice Rose sitting down eating a bowl of cereal, but she is eating that cereal separately from the milk. This holds relation to the representation of never mixing white with color, which is fucked up. Now this scene wasn't added until the director Jordan Peele made findings that milk was used as a symbol of white supremacy in America, which is very interesting. Now a video did surface when Shia LaBeouf was doing a live stream when it was hacked and interrupted by white supremacists and Nazis who went on camera sculling liters of milk. Were preaching hate speech like there was no tomorrow. So that's where the idea for that scene came from. Now Jeremy did dig his own hole when he claimed that jiu-jitsu was indeed like a game of chess, where you always have to be one step ahead of your opponent. And that's what Chris does when he gets Jeremy kick open that locked door one last time so that he was then able to stab him in the leg. And you will see a similar scene where Rose's dad, who says that fire can be a cleansing source of power. And that's exactly what happens at the end when his lab goes up in flames. Now guys, a lot of conspiracy theorists have come to the conclusion that this film really does resemble that of the MK Ultra mind control program and the twisted and sinister agendas behind what we would know as the Illuminati or global elite. Alright guys, well thank you so much for coming and watching my next conspiracy on the Get Out movie. I'm going to be uploading videos every week and it is only a short amount of time before Spooked Series 1 comes out, with the first episode underway and the second episode under construction. I am so goddamn excited for you guys to see this. I am absolutely pumped. I'm triggered. Alright guys, well if you like this video and you would like to see more, I'm going to be uploading videos every week. So make sure that you give this a like, make sure that you probably subscribe, and make sure that you guys take it easy and that you don't let your body get sold off for mind control. Alright guys.